country's future is in danger. I know you are frustrated with our party, frustrated with me, but do not let Labour waltz into office without scrutinising them, without seeing what their policies would mean for our country and your family's security. Do you really know what you're going to get with Labour? A government must make long-term decisions. But how can Labour when they've changed their mind, or claim to have, on nearly every issue? 4 years ago, Keir Starmer ran for Labour leader, promising to raise income tax on the top 5% of earners, to abolish universal credit, to scrap tuition fees, to nationalise the utility companies, and to defend free movement. Now, Starmer now says that he's changed his mind on all these things. But how can you trust someone who changes their mind on so many fundamental issues? How do you know that if it wasn't politically expedient, he wouldn't just change his mind all over again? Now, his constant U-turns show two things: that he was wrong before, and that he hasn't even the courage of his own past lack of convictions. This is a man who tried to overturn the result of the Brexit referendum, who twice urged everyone to make Jeremy Corbyn Prime Minister, and who ran on a series of pledges to be Labour leader that he cynically then abandoned. My friends, because he has such a past, he doesn't deserve to decide your future. I understand, of course, why people have their doubts about offering us their support again. The last few years have been really tough. COVID and the energy price spike caused by the war in Ukraine. And we have not got everything right. We have made mistakes. We've not delivered as much as we hoped to. But our economy is now turning a corner. The long, painful squeeze on your living standards over the past few years is over. Real wages have been rising for a year now almost, and inflation is back to target. When I became Prime Minister, inflation was in double digits, eating away at your pay packet, your savings. I promised to halve it, and we have done that and more, bringing it back to 2%. And we now have in place what we need for you to feel the benefits of our recovery. Low inflation, mortgage rates starting to fall, and taxes that are now coming down. Now, that's what you need, but to get that, you need a Conservative government. Now, Labour, in contrast, would put up everyone's taxes, taking the tax burden to the highest level it has ever been. Worse than that, they would charge every working family an extra £2,000 in higher council tax and other tax rises. Can you afford that? Can your neighbours? Can your loved ones? I tell you this, Labour will take more of your money every month, but we Conservatives will make sure that you have more money in your pocket every month. They'd also bring in Angela Rayner's French-style labour laws that would increase strikes, cost jobs and damage our economic recovery. And they'd quickly cave into the demands of the unions, sending inflation and borrowing straight back up. I warn you, don't fall into Labour's trap. Don't sleepwalk to July the 4th. I know you want to send us a message, but this is not a by-election. It will determine who governs our country for the next 5 years and potentially much longer. For if Labour get in, they will change the rules so it's much harder to ever get them out. They want to give 16-year-olds a vote not because they think on principle that they are adults, but because they think they'll vote for them. And once they have got power, they will change every rule to make sure that they keep it. We can't let that happen, friends, and it's only we Conservatives who can stop it. Now, I understand that people want to make clear to us, to me, their frustration. And I have heard you. But once you have handed Keir Starmer and Labour a blank cheque, you can't get it back. In Labour's Britain, if you work hard and try and set something aside for a rainy day, Keir Starmer thinks you're ripe for a tax rise. If you have a pension, Labour view that not as yours, but as something that they can raid whenever they need the money. If you're a homeowner, Labour will think nothing of making you spend thousands and thousands of pounds on net zero changes to your home. And as your Prime Minister, I can tell you that we live in a world of increasing threats. An axis of authoritarian states, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, are threatening our values, our interests, our security. And we must show our enemies that this country, with our allies, will stand strong. That is why I'm increasing our investment in defence to 2.5% of GDP. Because now is the time for bold action, not an uncertain Keir Starmer as Prime Minister. And that increase will allow us to stand up for our interests, deter our enemies, defend our values. Labour not only are not matching our commitment to raise defence spending, it's worse than that. The woman Keir Starmer wants to be Deputy Prime Minister of our country, and the man he wants to be Foreign Secretary, both voted against our nuclear deterrent, the ultimate guarantor of our security. It's clear that it's only we Conservatives, with our iron resolve, who you can trust to keep Britain safe. Now, there is a choice before you about Britain's future. I know the future that I want for our country. I want a Britain where those who work hard keep more of their own money, where people can send their children to state schools that deliver an education as good as anywhere in the Western world, where parents can be confident about what their children are being taught at school. I want a country where we can all get the medical treatment we need quickly from our brilliant NHS. A country where people are encouraged to start a business, where we have a culture of enterprise, where we take advantage of the opportunities of Brexit, where a new generation know the pride and security that comes with owning your own home, where parents and families are supported, and where pensioners have dignity and certainty in old age. I want a country where our borders are secure and immigration is under control. A country where we have the confidence of knowing that we are all on the same side. A country built on the values of aspiration, opportunity and security. Those are my values. They are this country's values. And friends, they are Conservative values. I cannot adequately express what my family and I owe this country. My grandmother came here with very little, and I stand before you as our Prime Minister. In no other country would my story be possible, and that is why I will always work as hard as I can for you and everyone. In the next 5 years, if you ask me to continue as your Prime Minister, I will do everything I can to deliver for you. I want to make Britain stronger, better, more secure. Ours is a great country with a proud past and a bright future. It is our duty, our responsibility, to take the bold action that will give you and your family the secure future that you deserve. That is what we stand for. That is what we are fighting for. And together, that is exactly what we are going to deliver.